Our next speaker is Len Ferman, Managing Director of Ferman Innovations and former Senior Vice President of Innovation at Bank of America. His presentation is entitled, Innovating a Roadmap for the Customer Experience. Please welcome Len Ferman.
Thank you. We're going to be relating all the steps in the innovation process to the steps in learning how to juggle. It's been proven scientifically that you are more able to remember and retain things when you can associate them with something visual. Juggling is very visual. You're all going to learn how to juggle. And now, this is the point in the presentation where I become a group mind reader. I know what most of you are thinking. You're saying to yourself, did he just say he's going to teach me how to juggle? Not me. I can't even chew gum and rub my tummy at the same time. He's not going to be able to teach me how to juggle. Well, I'm going to tell you the fact of the matter is that everybody can learn how to juggle. You do not have to have extraordinary talent in order to learn how to juggle. You do not need to possess supernatural capabilities in order to learn how to juggle. You do not even need to be exceptionally good looking in order to learn how to juggle. I've had a lot of women tell me I'm actually a prime example of that. I still can't figure out if that's a compliment or not. No, the fact of the matter is, everybody can learn how to juggle if you will simply give it a try and if you will cut out judgment of yourself and follow my simple steps. Don't fake any of the steps, and you will be able to learn how to juggle. I'm going to throw the ball and the scarf up in the air. We're going to see which one lands first. Here we go. Well, as you see, the scarf loses by quite a bit. But this gives the scarf some great properties. And that is simply that the scarf floats in the air. So it gives us a long time to be able to see what's going on. It's going to be like juggling in slow motion. So it's going to make it much easier for you to visualize what's going on, see the patterns, and be able to learn how to juggle. Now, in just a minute, we're all going to be juggling, so what I need you to do is I need you to stand up. So this is the one presentation where you get to stand up. And I want you to... So the first thing we're learning right now is that we need to break down complex processes into the most elementary steps. So whether it's learning how to juggle or learning how to improve the customer experience, if we want to improve our customer experience, we need to first understand what are all the basic steps our customers have to go through. We need to map that out, everything from the zero moment of truth, the pre-purchase decision-making, all the way through to repeat service. Make sure you're seeing the pattern in front of you. The pattern you want to see in front of you is that the scarf is going through this sideways figure eight pattern. For everybody who remembers 10th grade algebra, that was the infinity sign. So if you're doing your throws correctly, you'll be seeing that infinity sign in front of you. So I want everybody to really see that pattern. And what we're learning here, first of all, is that just like juggling is all about patterns, it's important when we're measuring and analyzing our customer experience data in the explore phase that we recognize the patterns, categories, segments in our data. That's what we're always looking for, what patterns are emerging in our data. And the importance of this is that we then need to identify, well, from those emerging patterns, what are the key customer problems that we're seeing? And this is critical because the whole point of the explore phase for us is to understand what are those key, most important problems that we need to solve for our customers. How many think Barack Obama is a juggler? Okay, a number of you think Barack Obama is a juggler. Well, the answer here is a qualified yes. You see, if you Google President Obama juggler, you're going to see lots of headlines. CNN reported Obama juggle story issues. ABC reported Obama juggle scandals. What we're seeing is President Obama is a juggler, much in the same way that all of us have had to become jugglers in 21st century business life. We're always juggling projects. We're juggling work and family life. So juggling really has become an essential skill. One more thing before you get started that really helps get down the rhythm for two scarves. And it's this funny little thing you can say to yourself, or better yet, say it out loud. It goes like this: crisscross applesauce. When you say crisscross applesauce, it gives you the perfect timing for two scarves. Now crisscross applesauce may sound funny to say. Crisscross applesauce might take you out of your comfort zone, but it's exactly what we need to do when we're eyeing. Make sure I've already seen a couple of you doing this. Make sure you are not doing crisscross sauce apple. Okay? Don't reach across to catch, because if you end up in this position, you can't make another thrust. That's not what we learned here from crisscross applesauce. Well, first thing we're learning is I have you using both of your arms, all of your arms. Similarly, you need to include all parts of your organization when you are brainstorming. Sometimes I'll hear stories about, well, we took the customer experience team and we went off-site and we came up with lots of great ideas. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you just take the customer experience team or the marketing team and go off-site, you're going to generate a narrow set of ideas because all of those people, by definition, had a similar background. That's why they got into marketing. They all think pretty much the same way. When you're ideating, you need to have as many different viewpoints as possible. The other advantage of including all parts of your organization is it creates a spirit, a feeling of inclusivity in the innovation process. As you reach out to people and you give them the opportunity to participate in the brainstorming session, you not only make them feel good about themselves, you help to drive cohesiveness in the company around whatever solutions come out of this process. Now we're ready to go to our final phase, the evaluate phase. And in the evaluate phase is our third phase, so we're going to be juggling with 3 scarves. The trick here is focus. There's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of extraneous information. You're going to see scarves flying all around you, not just your own scarves, but other people's scarves. The trick to doing this is to focus just on making 3 good throws. Don't even think about catching. If you make 3 good throws, they're going to be right there, and you'll be able to claw them down right in front of you. You'll be able to catch them. Just think about making 3 good throws. Right, left, right. If they're right there, you'll be able to catch. First thing we have to do when we're in the evaluate phase is now we're taking the gloves off. We're not ideating anymore. We're taking these hundreds of ideas that we just generated in brainstorming, and now the first thing we need to do is kind of clean that up, narrow the ideas we have down to a more manageable set that we're going to continue through the evaluate process. So the first thing we do is we filter out the extraneous information, filter out the out-of-scope ideas. And when I get it to where it's going good, I've got to cultivate this, repeat it over and over again until it's into my muscle memory. So that's what smart practice is. I visualize what the pattern should be, I analyze it, I make changes if I'm making mistakes, and then I try to cultivate the good pattern. So in 5 balls, every ball is crossing at its peak in a spot that's about 2 feet above my head. I've got to analyze what's going on and try to get those throws to the point where they're going through that one peak. This has a lot of implications for us in evaluating ideas. The first thing is that we need to evaluate all our ideas using carefully designed criteria. And the criteria is going to be different depending on what your goals are in the project, what you're trying to solve for, just like the criteria was different with 4 balls and 5 balls. Then you have to identify who are going to be the evaluators. And I recommend you have both internal subject matter experts evaluating your ideas, as well as customers. It's very critical at this phase to also include customers in the process, have them evaluate the ideas. The evaluate phase is what I call in my practice an idea tournament. It's a process simply of starting with hundreds of ideas that came out of brainstorming, bringing them through this filtering process where you're evaluating, cultivating, and prioritizing, and ending up with your final few ideas that will be your initiatives for development. And I'd like to just take you back through a summary of the key takeaways from each of the phases. So in the first phase, the explore phase, we related that to juggling just with 1 scarf. And the key things we learned there was we need to understand our customer journey, understand end-to-end all the touch points that our customers have with us. And then we need to be able to accurately measure and identify the key customer pain points, challenges, and sum all that up at the end of the explore phase with our themes for ideation. What are we going to take out to all of our employees and say, hey, we need to generate ideas around these themes. Then we got into the ideate phase. We related that to juggling with 2 scarves, our second phase. And we learned that we need to enable all employees to contribute ideas. We utilize and balance a variety of brainstorming methods and go for quantity and always encourage those wild and crazy ideas and maintain that risk-free environment. And finally, in the evaluate phase, the third phase, we juggled with 3 scarves and we went through our 3 pillars of evaluate, cultivate, and prioritize. Well, now for my final trick. This stool has balanced me very nicely. And I told you all about the critical importance of balance in the ideate phase. So I'm going to balance this stool. I'm going to return the favor, balance this stool on my chin. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience.